Let's unpack it, shall we?
Miller time.
So,
Dropping dimes. Let's go.
this
Say
episode gonna
what
be
you
based
not do.
around work.
So I
Something
need
quick.
not say.
I
Lay
was thinking
respect
about
that we
going
ain't
live with it, but
confess.
I'm
You
like, you
gon'
know what?
drain
I'll
my
just make it
plate.
an upload.
Say
Fuck it,
you
I got
can't
space on the
roll
hard drive, right?
vacation. Yeah, can't be the
But
case.
anyway, this
You don't know your place.
came
No
across
less is
my
zodiacs.
phone.
No need to
I
go
get a
to that.
text
I
message
told you
from
facts. Think abstract. You just whack. You too old for that. Take
one of
accountability.
the supervisors at my
Things you
job and
need
shit.
this week. New lesson learning now. I got a topic
So,
every week.
asking did I want to come to the company Christmas party on January 7th. We will have unlimited drinks, food, bowling, and whirly bowl, whatever the fuck that is. I need to prepay for everyone by the end of the day, so I need to know if you're coming. Please respond to me by 3 p.m. today. And then drop the link and where it's located. March of last year, stepped into that company with pretty much the expertise of something that they were looking for, something they was trying to build around in pest control, right? So this is a company that's based pretty much off of lawn care services, like weed and feed. Like you see people out there with the hose and reels spraying the lawn for weeds and shit. That's pretty much the cash cow, the censor of that company. And here I come from Active, stepping into an environment that's pretty much, I would say, low maintenance. Like everybody just doing their own thing. It's chill, it's laid back, but it also presents a problem on a grander scale of things that I was picking up on. And that's the fact that it's so many holes in how y'all go about operating y'all business that this could definitely lead to legal action from an employee, you know, from weather patterns. Obviously, you don't want to work in the rain if you're doing weed care because you wash all the chemicals away almost immediately. So I come in there with the expertise of pest control. They trying to get that on and popping. It's been pretty successful over this last year. May I add, I was single handedly doing all of that. I say all that to say this: a lot of responsibility was placed on my plate with this company. At the point where it's like, if I were to go into this myself, I could definitely make a killing in the industry solo, dolo. You get these sheets every day that gives you your route and gives you your total amount of what you're gonna make for the company, right? I'm doing the math on it, and based off of our prices and where they should be and where they can actually go, could bring in the company way more money doing pest control than lawn care. But I say all of that to say this: I am in a position where I'm pretty much running the pest control department of this fairly unfamiliar company, but it's been around for quite some time. So they have pest control, lawn care, tree care. They pretty much trying to implement tree care now. At the beginning of March of last year, we started off with at least four people that had the same experience using pesticides and things like that for bugs and shit. But a few months in, a couple of these motherfuckers dropped off, whether it been from attendance, always calling in and shit, or people just up and quit. And so you taking basically four people in their roles as doing pest control and weed and feed to pretty much putting that all on one person. Now check this out. During the course and how shit went on, I'm in a position where it's like, okay, I feel like I'm being overworked despite the wage that I'm making. I honestly feel that based off of the work that I've been putting in, I'm due for a substantial amount more. Not only am I running this shit single handedly, I'm bouncing back and forth in between pest control and weed and feed because you have certain employees that have a pattern of calling in. And not only that, certain employees are only limited to certain areas. Those employees have barely left the county. I'm going out to fucking Elkhorn, Lake Geneva, Genoa City, Eagle, Illinois. We gonna get to that though. We gonna get to that. So this is pretty much my routes and my daily encounter, my routes and shit. That's pretty much gonna set the tone for the weeks. Now, occasionally I would have a few routes, maybe for about like a week max, where I'm, pretty much doing what the most of our employees are doing, sticking around. And I know before y'all say, well, pest control and weed and feed are two different things, and the customer base for this department being pest control is more so centered down there, but they have both. We offer both all over. The problem with that is the execution of all of this shit. The last minute talking points, texting us in this group chat on our personal phones when we all got work phones, but we never get contact from the higher ups on those phones, but it's always the group text on our personal phones. So let's just say if we have a rainy day or something, I'm an early bird. I like to get in and get out. I'm not sitting around waiting for motherfuckers to give me the go ahead to come in or whatever the fuck, because I already see the weather app. We all have that capability of picking up our phones and looking at the weather app. Granted that yes, from time to time you will have, oh, it might rain, it might, or whatever the fuck, the chances of rain or whatever the fuck. But it's just so ass backwards how they go about executing the plan, the strategy, when you can't centralize your whole life around work for an entire year. You can't text people at 5 in the morning telling them, yeah, well, it's only going to be bad weather in this area. So everybody that's going to be working east of whatever or west of whatever highway, you should be good to go. And then you end up going out to work, and then everything is just a mess. You still dealing with inclement weather, whether that be rain or whether that be the lawn is too wet, shit like that. So you putting certain people in position like me to have to go out in these inclement conditions to do the work, when initially coming into the job, everything seemed like it was sweet. Oh yeah, no, you don't have to worry about it. If it rains, more than likely we won't be working or shit like that. I'm not complaining about work at all, because I'm that nigga, for real. I'm really a fucking workhorse. But it comes a time where you just gotta look back at shit and just really review, like, okay, why is certain people getting privileges of working in certain areas, which is close to the shop, but you sending so many other people way the fuck out to do work, regardless if they're doing pest control, which I'm the only motherfucker that'll do that. Mosquito, flea, tick, rodent, all of that shit, that's me. You know, structural spray, shit like that. How fucking dare y'all, whoever the fuck is in the office making these fucking routes, put a bulk of the work on motherfuckers that's already traveling far and doing all this shit. I've had so many routes, and this especially started to come to a head of like, this is some straight bullshit, but you know what? Stepping stone. We gonna stick with it till we get to somewhere better. If not running a motherfucking company at this point, because the higher ups just don't know what the fuck they do, what they doing, how to execute shit properly, how to give people a heads up in advance, give them a notice, at least a 24-hour notice. I've been in situations, and I'm pretty sure other coworkers that may come across this video can vouch that, yeah, you gotta let motherfuckers know when they gonna be in certain areas. Because towards the end of this shit, it started around November. We wrapped up, we have this program, we have 6 different rounds, right? So round 6 is the final round of the year, which should culminate around Thanksgiving. So we pretty much then wrapped round 6 up damn near at the end of October. Why? Because of the workload. They sending motherfuckers out to do like 30 stops a day, and everybody wasn't getting 30 stops, but guess who did though? Me. When the pest control and shit slowed down around mid-September, early October, I'm getting loaded up with 30 stops a day. And this is round 6. Now, according to these people, round 6 is supposed to be the shortest round of the year. We come to a point where motherfuckers was out there just knocking out so many stops, me being one of them, getting damn near 30 stops a day. If some of them didn't fall off, because occasionally you have like, oh, it's a 30 stop route, but about time you start your day, in about like maybe 2-3 hours in, you'll probably have a few of them fall off because the customers call in and cancel or whatever. But if you go from that point of literally, it damn near feel like being targeted when you don't, the employee that's already doing a specialty work in pest control, and you're single-handedly doing all of that work, where you got to travel these long ass distances. You traveling like 20 to 30 fucking minutes in between stops, and you got like 25 stops to do. That's a lot. So it ain't like you just drive and pull up somebody's house and shit and taking a picture or some shit. You actually getting out, got to talk to the customer, all of that shit. You know, you run into your hiccups and people not understanding. You know, you run into the language barrier. You got different people of different cultures. You got people not understanding what you there for because, oh, I thought I was getting the weed feed today, but it's like, no, you signed up for pest control too. How the fuck don't you know that? That's another story. You know, customers that pay for shit don't be knowing shit until they see somebody pull up and then all of a sudden, what are you doing? Motherfucker, you should know. You paying for this, right? But besides that, to be given the burden of having to single-handedly do all pest control stops, then to be switched over to pretty much be the cleanup guy. Because every route that I've gotten, I've noticed, and I've been comparing myself to other employees. Not that I care about how much they bring in the company or whatever, but where are these people being located? And why the fuck does it seem like every fucking time I'm on a route that's weed and feed, now I'm getting the cleanup shit. So the cleanup shit is basically you may have 2 or 3 stops in one city. Then you got to travel like another 20 minutes to another city to do like 2. Then you got to travel to another part of the town that's probably like 10-15 minutes over to do 5 or 6. But the standard of the average route is everybody gets one little area within a 5 to 10 mile radius. So you're not really driving that far in between stops. A lot of times you'll have neighbors, you know, or they be across the street or something like that. So you got like maybe 25, 30 stops, but they're condensed. It's in one little area. So it wouldn't take you as long to do that in comparison to somebody that has 25 to 30 stops that have to travel 20 to 30 minutes in between those stops. All I'm saying is the raise better be fucking amazing. At this point, put me on salary to run the department for pest control. I don't mind training nobody to just send them out there. Hey, make sure you do this, that, and the third. I can give order. There's no problem with that. I can train and give them very intricate fucking detail and information on how to go about pest control and shit. But where the bullshit comes in and continues to pile up is like, I'm just noticing shit. I'm seeing emails of managers reaching out to the scheduler, telling them to keep a certain number, keep a job. I'm gonna just say this: November was like damn near a tipping point. A lot of people fell off. A lot of people just quit because of the work that was given. And this is why I say time is a motherfucking factor, and you have to definitely give people information beforehand, not just a few hours before they come into the work and can come into the job. You can't just tell a motherfucker, All right, today you're gonna be in Illinois. And that's how we get to the end of this little work cycle. November, early November, they started sending people down to Illinois. I'm like, okay, so we gotta go across state lines. So there's tolls and shit. Even though my personal work truck had Illinois plates on it already, it's kind of like you couldn't have told us this shit like a day or two in advance. I get a call from my goddamn manager that's telling me the morning of that I'd already figured out because I had carried my work phone with me to the crib so that I can see, after midnight it'll post where you gonna be at. And I seen it was saying Illinois, it was saying Gurney. I'm like, Gurney. So then I'm already setting, what I'm saying, getting ready to just power through that shit, get through the day. Here he come calling me, talking about some, yeah, I got you in Illinois today. Uh, we know that you normally got to pay a toll, but just don't worry about that. Just go through the toll. You know what I'm saying? Go with the designated speed limit or whatever, but we gonna get that situated for you. Um, it should be done today. Like, what? What? Hold on. So why the fuck am I in a position where y'all just sending motherfuckers down to Illinois and y'all ain't even prepared properly to even do that? You got motherfuckers that got just the regular ass Wisconsin plates going across state lines. Me, luckily, having an Illinois plate can just go back and forth and possibly get away with it. Never got pulled over, you know. But the fact that you waiting for the last minute to try to just throw some shit together is just like, bro, I see why this motherfucker went corporate and you had to sell your share and shit to whoever the fuck bought it out because clearly y'all mismanaging the shit. From the pricing, from all of that shit. Like it's some for whatever reason this year working down in Racine, it's like you do so many stops, but the revenue wasn't shit because I guess they had some type of promotion or some shit going on where the customers were basically paying like fucking $30 for lawn care service for just the weeding fee. And these motherfuckers have about like 15 to 20,000 square foot acre yards to spray. For one, the truck can't even reel that motherfucker all the way out. The hose not gonna reach that far. So you want me to spray one half, reel the hose all the way back in, drive, position my truck at a different angle, then hit this. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of weird shit with that. Not only that, but the sizes of these properties be miscalculated as fuck. It just be estimates. They go off of Google estimates. They don't actually go out there and measure the lawn and shit. So you'll have a motherfucker that'll say like 4.0, which is basically a 4,000 square foot lawn. You'll pull up to this motherfucker. It'll be a side house, a corner house or some shit like that, or a house in a cul-de-sac that's at the end of the cul-de-sac that has the most land, the most lawn and shit. And it'll be like at least measuring up to like a 14, 15, but on paper it says a 4.0. It's like y'all fucking up with the math with these estimates. Y'all need to get y'all ass back out here and just be a whole overhaul on how y'all go about measuring these properties because it's not making sense and y'all losing money and y'all playing y'all employees at the same fucking time. Because I'm expecting to do this and granted, you have so much chemical, so much you carry in your tanks. So some of that shit probably end up being a short end of the stick for your whole route because, well, shit, I done ran out of fucking product because I had 3 back-to-back 4s, but they were all 12s. So now my measurement off. And now I gotta drive back to the fucking shop to refill if I can even do that, depending on how far I am from the fucking shop. Keep in mind, a lot of this shit for me was way the fuck out. 30 plus minutes driving this shit. So how the fuck am I in a position where I gotta come back and do all this because of y'all miscalculation? Y'all need to fix that shit. Fix that, and not only that, the fucking pricing too. But see, that's why I'm glad I'm actually using my licenses to my advantage versus all the other motherfuckers that work up in there that may have the structural license. They got their 5.0, they 7.1, and they 3.2 or some shit like that. Whatever the fuck the 3 licenses is that you need to become a applicator to apply pesticides and herbicides and shit. I have all three. The funny thing is a lot of other motherfuckers up in there too. Maybe about at least half of them that have the exact same licenses as me, but they elect to just do weed and feed. You know, I came up in here expecting, okay, well I can do weed and feed. But then the manager was like, well, no, we're gonna have you do pest control since you know what I'm saying you pretty hip to it and you know how to do it. I'm like, okay, well that's cool, but in essence, we losing like 3 or 4 fucking people because they calling in or just quitting and shit. So now that's putting more weight on me to actually go out here and do these jobs and shit. It's been many times that I've had routes where it's like, ain't no motherfucking way y'all thought that this was just a 1 person job, like a 1 person route. We pulling like 12, 13 hour days out there trying to do that shit. We need better fucking leadership. We need motherfuckers like me. And hopefully this is what's in store for a nigga. To actually be promoted. Because the fucking work that I put in, the fucking revenue that I bought in the company just from pest control alone, should let y'all know. It was this point in time where we actually had an audit. Well, I had an audit. Where I was riding around with the he was corporate. I forget I think his name was Mark. But we was riding around, did a whole route. I had 15 that day. So that was a light one for me. But the funny thing is, the whole time we riding around, Mark was like, damn, man, you sure are driving around a lot, driving far. And I'm like, shit, you think this far? Bro, this is a motherfucking walk in the park for me today. Shit, we got that shit done. He showed up at 8, goddamn. We got done by 1:30, nigga. The fuck is you talking about? I was in and out, bro. I was running through that shit. He was just saying, you know what I'm saying? Giving me little tips and pointers as I was going about doing this shit. He was like, oh yeah, make sure you're not spraying the vegetable garden and all that shit. You know, little simple shit like that. Like, yeah. We know about that and all that stuff. But, you know, saying all that to say this, if corporate is giving me a thumbs up, because at the end of the day, he was telling Phil, and Phil had relayed to me. He was like, hey, you know, they fucks with you, bro, basically. You know what I'm saying? Paraphrasing it, but he was like, oh yeah, no, they actually they like your work. They like your into you know what I'm saying, your wisdom on this shit. So that's a good, that's a good little tidbit to have going into next season, next year when we have these reviews. So don't y'all forget that shit. That's all I'm saying. These motherfuckers better not forget that shit. And the thing is, when we get back to this motherfucker, whatever the fuck they got the wage at, we gonna have to renegotiate, because I know good and fucking well I done put in a shit ton of energy into that job. I've been missing, I ain't gonna say missing, but I've been, basically slacking on my content creation because I've been working so fucking much, just consumed with that and trying to maintain my motherfucking physical and shit and rest and balance and doing everything dolo. You know what I'm saying? Doing everything solo, living by myself. That ain't nothing to, oh, woe is me. But nigga, this is what men do. I get it. But it's like, that was a motherfucking challenge for me this year. I ain't even gonna hold you, but it fucking sucks when you sit around and you see a lot of other people that you work with barely do anything. Like, you worked and bust your ass way more than this motherfucker did, because you see the routes, you see where they traveling to, you see all of this shit in the morning. You can pretty much log into your co-worker's account and see what they have listed for the day. Whether you want to go through it and see the size of the lawn or just see what area they gonna be in. And a lot of people were complaining, like calling in, making up excuses, saying that they sick when they wasn't. Motherfuckers be on the clock, just bullshitting around. I tell you, bro, it was this one nigga that I was working with when we first came up in there that was supposed to be supposedly training me. He didn't even know what the fuck he was doing. And I could see that, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of figured that he was just doing what the fuck he wanted to do. And this nigga would be pulling up to restaurants for our break and shit, ordering some shit to eat and going to sleep in that motherfucking truck for like at least an hour. I'm like, bro, non-productive ass niggas. It is what it is, bro, but you know, like time tells it all. Time tells it all. And it's funny because I seen him and another coworker always pulling up to work, and this was the motherfucker that I had rolling with me for about like the first maybe 2 months. You know what I'm saying? I slide through, pick him up, we roll out there. But once we got to May, nigga, I said, fuck that shit. Bro, you gonna have to figure this out. You gonna have to catch the motherfucking bus or something, bro, because you telling me that you saving up so much to get a car, but you still needing a ride and shit. And he ended up starting back, getting a ride with the other coworker and shit. And meanwhile, I'm seeing this through the months. Like around July, August, the other coworker's car break down, but this nigga still rolling with him, right? So when his car had ended up breaking down, he had to catch the bus up there and shit. And then the coworker got his shit repaired, and I guess they're still rolling with each other. But it was like every other week I would see the car and it would just look more and more destroyed and beat up. Had a fucking spare tire on the front and it was a front wheel drive car. Why the fuck would you do that? Whatever. But looked like he got into a little fender bender. The fucking headlight was knocked out. Looked like he ran into something and shit. I'm just like, bro, see, that's that karma. Like, you can't share nobody's karma. You know what I'm saying? Like, some motherfuckers just need to get out there and just get that shit and not be fucking coddled. And that's exactly what that fucking coworker was doing. The one that I initially was, you know, sliding because he lived like not too far from me. Like, nigga, literally like 2 or 3 blocks from me, bro. But that wasn't the point. The point is, motherfuckers was getting comfortable and complacent. See? That's the fucking problem. You don't want to get out and try. You just want to be able to talk your way to have a motherfucker do something to convene you, but you're an inconvenience to them though. And that's what I see. That's what I saw unfold over the whole course of the year. So much so that that nigga that was taking, bro, that I was taking to work, his car ended up finally, I guess, shitting out on him or whatever. And I guess they had to get it scrapped. And you seen him pulling up in some other car. And I don't know if bro was rolling with him after he had got the other car or not, but I know that made him feel some type of way, the nigga with the car, right? Because it's like, damn, bro, you rolling with me this whole time, my car breaking down and all of this shit, and all you can do is call me to say, hey, bro, can you give me a ride? And you can't even pitch in on the repairs on this motherfucker, bro. Fuck you. You sat there this whole time and did nothing but just sit back and smoke with a nigga and ask, can I get a ride? And literally the motherfucker broke down and you wasn't nowhere to be found with your shit back on the bus. Ain't that a bitch? That's some hoe ass shit, bro. Like, I don't see how grown ass men can sit here and do some fuck shit like that. But off the co-workers though, back to the supervisor trying to invite me out to, what was it, Fuddruckers, whatever the fuck, what was that? Whirly Bowl. A Christmas party on January 7th. Nigga, it's New Year's now. We in 2026. If that's the case, you might as well just go ahead and say goddamn New Year's party. Don't say Christmas. Let me guess. Somebody fucked and fumbled the time frame to reserve a motherfucking place for around Christmas time or something. I mean, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's showing appreciation to the employees, I guess, but I won't be there. I'm cool. I told him, hey, bro, I'm good. Nah, no, thank you. I'm just focused and locked in on the next season, the next year, and what the fuck is to come because I know it's gonna be great. I know it's gonna be great. I didn't put in too much work. I done outworked all the motherfuckers up in there. Whatever the fuck they gotta say about me, it don't matter. It's out of jealousy because I really came up in there and bust my ass and showed motherfuckers what was up. And you know, that's another thing too. Like that whole stint of this year, it revealed a lot to me about management and shit because it was a point in time motherfuckers was going up in there stealing, taking shit out of people's trucks, taking shit out of people's lockers, taking their clothes. I guess they was wearing them or whatever because I didn't seen my outfits just disappear day by day. I was seeing my pants and shit in my locker just vanishing. Like, where the fuck is these pants going? You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, shit came up missing up out of my work truck. That was my personal shit, like my phone mount for the car or whatever for the truck. That shit came up missing. I told the manager about it. He said, "Okay, I'll replace it." That's weird to me though. See, if you don't want to actually get to the bottom of shit, you condoning that shit because you dead ass just say, "Ah, don't worry about it, I'll replace it because I don't want to create no tension." Well, the tension ain't gonna disband until you actually get the motherfucking problem out. You gotta get rid of the bad apple. You gotta figure out who the fuck is up in here taking people's shit instead of just saying I'll replace it. Like, that's not how you do that. That's some shady ass shit. This is kind of like, damn, are you a co-conspirator at this point? But I just had to unpack that, fam. I don't know if y'all listened to the end. If y'all did, I appreciate you, goddamn. Definitely do. But I just had to unpack that. Feel me? And go ahead and consider subscribing to Militime and check out militime.life for all of your holistic health needs. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Y'all little work situations just seem like crazy as fuck, but you just dealing with it just to weather the storm and step to the next level. Let me know what y'all think, fam. Until next time, y'all take care, folks.
Say you're looking for foundation, yeah? Can't be the case, bitch. You don't know your placement unless it's zodiacs. No need to go to that. I'll throw you facts. Think abstract, you just whack. You too old for that. Take accountability. It's some things you need to tweak. New lesson learning now. I got a topic every week.
Give a fuck about what your pop said. Yeah, bitch, shut your mouth. No, you roll like the Rock said. Don't